Sorry, I took a big bite of the apple and then the film ended. Hey, I'm Skip Alsheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where we watch old 16mm films. And that was definitely an old 16mm film. That was an experimental film by Maya Deren. And what I like about it is a couple of things. One, I have done screenings in the Maya Deren Theater, which is at the Anthology Film Archives in New York City, in the East Village. And also, this film was released by Cinema 16, and Cinema 16 was an early kind of potluck of 16mm film screenings that were all in Manhattan, and very much, I didn't realize it at the time, because, I wasn't born yet, but I've looked at the programs of the Cinema 16, and I've seen similarities. And when they celebrated the 100th anniversary of the person who put these together, whose name Amos Vogel is the man who put it together. They had a 100th anniversary for him. And these different theaters in New York City reached out to me because I actually had films that were in the program list of what he showed. So it's kind of gone full circle. He also wrote a book called Film as a Subversive Art, which I took a class in at NC State, one of the few film studies classes that I took at NC State, and watched amazing stuff. And so, yeah, there's this kind of cycle of stuff. So, anyways, Maya Deren with a bunch of dancers in woods. So there you go. One of the more popular Maya Deren films is Private Lives of Cats, and I've put that on my YouTube channel, and people have gone nuts. Now it's time for Rumpelstiltskin, and this is not with puppets, which is interesting. Enjoy.
A greedy king. All day long, he thought only of could get more gold. One day, a poor miller came to the court and asked to speak to the king.
Well, speak up, my good man. What is it you wish?
If your majesty will forgive me, last night I had a dream. A dream that concerned you and one dear to you.
Indeed. And what was this dream?
In my dream, the oracle, who knows all things, appeared to me and said, Miller, the king has a son who was born on the same day, at the same hour, a daughter. No, this is an omen, a sign from the star. If you go to the king and tell him my words, your daughter may marry the prince. One day become queen.
Captain of the guard. Off with his head.
Oh, Your Majesty, my daughter can sew and spin. She can spin straw into gold.
A daughter who can spin straw into gold, eh?
Back home, the miller told his daughter what had happened. He knew she would never be able to spin straw into gold, but he had been so afraid of losing his head that he had said the first thing that came into his mind. Well, he said, I'll go back and tell the king the truth and take my punishment. But his daughter would not hear of it. She would go to the king herself. The king gave her no chance to speak, but took her to a room high up in the castle tower. The door locked behind her. In the room, there was a spinning wheel and some straw. The king had told her to spin the straw into gold by the morning. Otherwise, her father would lose his head. The poor girl didn't know what to do. There was no one to help her. And then a dwarf appeared from nowhere. He asked why she was crying. Miller's daughter told her story and begged him to help her. He said that he knew how to spin straw into gold. He wanted her necklace as payment. Right before her very eyes, the little man spun the straw into threads of finest gold. When the girl awoke the next morning, she realized that it had not been a dream. The spool was full of gold, glittering in the sunlight. The king, too, was astonished. The miller had told the truth. The girl could spin straw into gold. But he was very greedy, so he gave her another pile of straw to turn into gold. The following night, the little man came back, and this time, the miller's daughter gave him her ring in payment. The next day, the king said that he would give her one more pile of straw. If she could spin that into gold by morning, she would marry the prince, his son. If she failed, both she and her father would die. When the little man returned and saw the huge pile of straw, he paid a very high price for his work. He wanted the first child born to the miller's daughter after she became queen. The girl at first refused, but then, thinking she was still a long way from being a queen, she promised. The little man worked and worked, and gradually, all the straw turned into gold. The next day, the king fulfilled his promise, and the miller's daughter was married to the prince. The old king had died, and the miller's daughter was now a queen. She had forgotten her bargain with the dwarf, until one day he came to claim the child she had promised him. She pleaded and pleaded. Finally, the little man said he would give her one more chance. If the queen could guess his name, within 3 days, she could keep her baby. The following morning, the queen tried all the names she knew, but none were his. The second day, she tried all the names known in the kingdom, but the little man only shook his head. That night, the queen's own page came to the palace with a very strange story. He had gotten lost in the forest and had come upon a clearing where a little bearded man was singing and dancing before a fire. The dwarf kept repeating, "Today I brew, tomorrow I bake, and then the child away I'll take."
So this is me.
And the neigh.
Is it Harry?
No.
Is it Dot?
No, said the dwarf. You may as well never guess my name.
Rumpelstiltskin?
And from never bothered by the little man again.
What happened? Did it not end? That's frustrating. Let me see. It kind of ended, but not really. I wanted him to stamp in misery, like be really upset. Oh well. And of course we call them little people now, not dwarves. But I don't know. I tend to think that having live action made it flat. Like puppets, I think have done better jobs of it. But that's just me. Here's a Canadian film about how important your teeth are. Enjoy.
One quiet summer afternoon, the whole town seemed to be asleep. But the strangest noises are coming from the Smith's house. Is there something the matter with Junior? Junior has cut his first tooth. His parents are proud. So is Molly. Roger thinks teeth are for chewing with. But you can't chew celery with only one tooth. One tooth is like a pair of scissors with only one blade. It won't cut. But front teeth in the top jaw and front teeth in the bottom jaw can cut the food into little pieces like a pair of scissors. Back teeth are like nutcrackers. They crush the food. Like a mortar and pestle, they grind it. But we must help our teeth to do their job of cutting, crushing, and grinding. Teeth need care to keep them healthy and well, just as the body does. Teeth must be healthy to chew properly. Unhealthy teeth are bad for the whole system. Ginger keeps his teeth healthy by chewing bones. The Smiths help their teeth by eating raw carrots and celery and apples and salad. Junior does his best on a biscuit. Afterwards, Mr. Smith has some news. Tomorrow, they will go on a picnic. Roger, in his excitement, almost forgets that after eating, tiny bits of food remain in the mouth and cause tooth decay. And though you can't see it, the tooth rots day by day. But if time were speeded up, you could watch the tooth decaying. And if the holes get really big, Often the tooth must come out. The other teeth try to fill in the empty space, and when the teeth are in the wrong places, it's difficult to chew. But Roger knows he can help cut down decay by brushing away the small bits of food right after eating. He can even brush his teeth while thinking of the picnic, and so can the rest of the family. After they've eaten, right away they brush their teeth to help stop decay. After breakfast, lunch, and supper. It doesn't take long to keep your teeth clean. It leaves plenty of time to get ready for the picnic. And all the Smiths are busy. All except Roger. And Roger is trying to help his teeth decay by eating candy, but Mrs. Smith stops him just in time and gives him a picnic sandwich instead, for sweets cause decay. The picnic, thinks Roger as he finishes his sandwich and goes to bed. The picnic, the picnic, the picnic. There's something else he should think about, too. Ginger is trying to help him remember. Picnic, sandwich, toothbrush. Roger remembers just in time to use his toothbrush right after eating. Next morning, it's beautiful weather for the picnic. The Smiths can hardly wait to start. But they must make one stop on the way for the car to be checked. For cars, like teeth, should always be checked before trouble begins. Now the Smiths are really on their way to the country. And what a wonderful picnic it is. There's milk. There are apples and oranges. There are brown bread sandwiches of tomatoes. There are radishes and brown bread sandwiches of meat. For these are the foods which, added together, build strong, healthy teeth. And because it is a picnic and they didn't bring their toothbrushes, the Smiths rinse their mouths with water to wash away the little bits of food and keep their teeth clean. After lunch, the Smiths all do the things they like to do in the fresh air and sun. Roger likes exploring. Following Ginger, he meets a man sitting under a tree. He's a very nice man, and he throws sticks for Ginger to fetch. And he picks a 4-leaf clover and gives it to Roger for luck. But just at that moment, a storm comes up. The Smiths pack their things and get ready to go. They all begin to shout for Roger. Why doesn't he hurry? Where can he be? Here he comes, running as fast as he can. Next morning at breakfast, Roger is thinking about the man and the picnic. So he's not very interested when his mother reminds him that this is the day he is going to the dentist. Birthday once a year, dentist twice a year. He'll have his teeth checked in advance, just as they check the car at the garage. He doesn't really want to go. He'd sooner play with Ginger. But a big surprise is in store for him. He finds that the dentist is his very good friend who gave him the four-leaf clover. And there is hardly anything the matter with his teeth, for Roger keeps them in good condition by following 4 good rules. He helps to prevent decay by using his toothbrush right after eating. He eats the food that builds strong teeth. It's as easy as 2 and 2. He avoids too much candy, especially between meals, because sweets can cause decay. And to make sure his teeth are healthy and strong, he visits the dentist twice a year. 4 rules like the 4-leaf clover.
I didn't hate that. I enjoyed that. That style of animation, kind of the paper cutout, pretty great. And also the little bit of drama. And so thank you, Kevin, for you messaged me about trying to turn off this annoying crown feature that's in the live chat. It's not 100% the way that the tutorial you've given me. I'm not finding those things, so I have to dig a little bit deeper. But I'm going to turn this off because I love you guys commenting, but I don't love this whole gamification of getting everybody to comment. I want you to comment when you want to comment, and I don't want you to do it because there's some ludicrous crown that's placed on you. Very annoying. YouTube, you're great and you're horrible. Here is a film called Photographic Slides for Instruction. It's made by Indiana University. And Indiana University, for a while, and I would say even now, had a vast number of educational films that they rented out. But they also made, and they had a giant library that schools from across the country would rent these films, and now they're an archive of a lot of these films, and so they have more films than I do, and that's fine because they have the money to deal with them. But we have scanned some over the years for them, so we're buds. We're not in competition. So here's again Photographic Slides for Instruction. So this is an educational film. Media film about educational media. So of course I love that. Enjoy.
Photographic slides are useful instructional materials. In black and white or color, they are easy to make and easy to use in the classroom. Slides can be made of student activities, microscopic objects, pictorial material found in magazines or books, scenic or historic spots, and local points of interest. Let's see how a teacher made this slide of a spillway to help her visualize a unit on the community's water supply. For outdoor colored pictures, a daylight-type film is used. With each box, there is a guide that shows the correct exposure settings for almost any conditions. The shutter speed and lens opening are read directly from the guide. Distance is the only other setting to be made. The teacher could estimate the distance or use a tape measure, but her camera has a rangefinder to make focusing easier. When adjusting the rangefinder control, this is what she sees. One of the two images moves. When it coincides with the other, the lens is properly focused. Then she is ready to make an exposure. The local photo shop will handle processing of this film. Later on in the classroom, one of the children projects the slides as the teacher discusses them with the class. Pictures like this can be taken in normal room light by using fast films. Here, a social studies teacher is making a picture in a printing plant. He is using a type of film that gives a finished positive transparency in about 3 minutes. After an exposure is made, the tab is pulled and the film is allowed to develop in the camera. In about 2 minutes, he can remove the transparency. It is complete except for hardening the emulsion, which is accomplished by dipping the transparency in a chemical hardening solution. This film has 2 advantages. Pictures can be taken in normal room light, and processing is rapid. In less than 3 minutes, a transparency can be made that is ready to mount and show in the classroom. A plastic mount like this is practical because it is unbreakable, and the special shape eliminates the possibility of projecting the picture upside down. Other pictures in black and white or color can be taken indoors by using flash bulbs or electronic flash for lighting. Color pictures of class activities make an effective report to the parents. For this, you can use a 35mm camera with an inexpensive flash attachment. A plastic cover over the reflector serves as a protection in case the bulb should break. To find the camera settings, select the guide number for the film and bulb you are using. At 1/50th of a second, the guide number is 110. To find the proper lens setting, divide the guide number by the distance in feet. For a distance of 10 feet, the result would be 11. So the lens opening is set on 11. Then line up the subject in the viewfinder and snap the picture. Another slide for your collection. A pictorial record of class activities is a good way to show pupils' accomplishments. With flash photography, you can also make records of bulletin boards or of class projects. A very important source of material for slides is the never-ending supply of maps, pictures, and graphs in books and magazines. These pictorial materials, colorful, readily available, and interesting can inexpensively be converted into useful slides for teaching. Let's see how a copy is made of this magazine illustration. You will need to add an inexpensive close-up attachment to your camera for this type of copy work. Make the camera settings according to the directions that come with the copying equipment. A supplementary lens over the regular lens acts as a simple magnifying glass and permits you to make a close-up of the subject. You can make copies quickly and conveniently with this equipment. However, the size of the pictorial material you can copy will be limited. With a rigid copy stand and a more versatile camera, you can make adjustments for copying originals of any size. 2 reflector flood lamps can be used for illumination. Be sure to use an indoor type color film. Careful focusing assures sharp pictures. An exposure meter, used as recommended for copying, will help you get consistently good exposures. You can also use a photo data guide to give you the proper exposure settings. Similar guides will help you determine the correct lens setting when making extreme close-ups. By using your equipment properly and by following instructions carefully, you can make good slides. If you need a transparency in a hurry, copies can be made in a matter of minutes by using the process that makes a positive transparency in the camera. Daylight is an excellent light source for copying. If you're making colored copies, be sure to use daylight type film. A tripod is a steady support for the camera while you make the exposure. To protect slides that are used frequently, bind them between 2 pieces of glass. A slide binding tape holds the glass, picture, and mask together. You can also use various types of commercial mounts that are available from your photo dealer. Often you can add interest to a slide presentation by making a tape-recorded narration to accompany the showing. Good photographic techniques, proper exposure, sharp focus, and interesting camera angles will make your slides more effective. Notice particularly in these pictures of a leather craft project the use of close-ups to emphasize details. A good presentation of your slides is important. Be sure the room is adequately darkened, the projector properly focused, and the slides changed smoothly. There are many kinds of good projectors you could use. Once you start a collection of slides for instructional purposes, you will discover new and varied uses for your camera. Whether you use your camera to make pictures through a microscope, or take a picture of a flower, or make copies outdoors, you will enjoy making and using slides. Every subject matter area offers a wide range of possibilities, and you will find many uses for them in your classroom work.
There's lots of advice on the internet about how to turn off the crowns or participation in the leaderboard, but not anything that I found that talks about me as a creator turning it off for everybody. So this might have to be something I have to dig into, but I apologize. This is really annoying. Anyhow, I remember learning how to make slides when I was in the School of Design. That was just part of our deal when we would do presentations, and so this is before, of course, PowerPoint. Yeah, so I shot lots of really bad out-of-focus slides as a design student. I don't think I ever got really better at it, and that's the thing is like, and that's what's different than now, of course, is that we get immediate feedback on if something is in focus and looks good versus you shoot a roll of slide film, you take it to be processed, and then later that day, if you're lucky, you get to see and you go like, crap, like that, there's my thumb, and oh, that was way out of focus, or there was a piece of dirt on the lens, or stuff like that. So you kids today have it so lucky. All right, let's all right, you know I love you guys, right? You know I love you. So on Friday, we got a new refrigerator, and so I had pulled a bunch of films about refrigerators, and I was like, wow, I haven't shown this one in a long time. And since 2020, while we were in the midst of COVID, when this show started, and I showed this, and I love this film for so many reasons. It is made by a very competent industrial filmmaker, Calvin Films. It features very competent, funny actors trying to sell Sears freezers. And this film is made specifically for the salespeople and not for the general public, and it cautions at the beginning. And I love this film so much because it is an utter train wreck. It is a complete mess. And it's also riffing on Laugh-In, which was popular at the time. So I think this film was made in 1970, and it features Judy Carn and Artie Johnson, who were two prominent comedians on Laugh-In, and they're very funny on Laugh-In. But oh boy, this is a mess. This is such a mess. So know that I love you. I remember showing this at a conference, and there was a guy who's one of the NYU professors at NYU who said, he yelled out at the end, he's like, oh my God, this is the third time I have seen this film. I never ever want to see this film again. And that was like a personal badge for me to do that. So that was my own crown. So here it is in it's devastating. A lot of people who know how to make funny films but really didn't do it. This is Freeze In. Enjoy.
Very interesting. Warum kannst du sequential?
And now, the Sears Roebuck and Company Freezing takes a look at freezer selling, past, present and future. Here's a look at how freezers were sold 30 years ago.
Good morning, ma'am. I see you're interested in a freezer. Oh, you undoubtedly saw our ad on this little jewel. We call it our jewel box. It's the most freezer you can get for the money. Right here, look, you can put a whole side of beef. Right here, everything. And over here, there's room for all kinds of things. I'll bet you're a nut on fresh strawberries, aren't you? All you have to do is buy them. By the bushel, even. I bet you could put a whole bushel of fresh strawberries right here. And look at these other features. Look at them.
Well, that was Friesian's look at the past. Here's Friesian's look at the present. That's things as they are now.
Good morning, madam. I see you're interested in a freezer. You undoubtedly have seen our ad for this little jewel here. In fact, we call it our jewel box. This is the biggest freezer you can get for this price. Look here. You can get a whole side of beef. Right here. Everything. Over here, there's room for all kinds of things. I'll bet you're a nut over fresh strawberries, aren't you? All you have to do is buy them. By the bushel, even. I could just see a whole bushel of fresh strawberries right there. And look at these other wonderful conveniences.
And now, Friesian takes a look at the future. That's 30 years from now.
Good morning, madam. I can see you're interested in a freezer. You undoubtedly saw our ad on this jewel. In fact, we call it our jewel box. This is the biggest freezer you can get at this price. And right here, you can get a whole side of beef. Right here, everything. And over here, you can put all sorts of things. I'll bet you're kind of a nut over fresh strawberries, aren't you? All you have to do is buy them. By the bushel, even. I bet you could put a whole bushel of strawberries right here. And look at all these other features.
And now, folks, it's Suck It To Me time.
The point to this, ladies and gentlemen, is that freezers haven't been selling very well. 20 years ago, we were pushing the cold, dark holes to farm families as a cheap place to put stuff. We're still doing it today. But if we keep doing it tomorrow, we're going to miss a lot of customers. After all, that economy model freezer is...
What he's trying to say is that this bottom-of-the-line freezer is not what we should be selling the hardest at all. It's just a cold, dark hole. Inconvenient and nothing but a coffin. Ugh.
Very interesting, but morbid. Yeah.
Yes, the lady is right. It's time for Sears to quit pushing those cold, dark coffins onto everybody who comes into the store. Customers have changed. We need to talk to the millions of young married couples who have more money to spend than ever before. What these housewives want is convenience, not cubic feet per dollars. And only Sears can give them true convenience in a freezer. That's right. Today's freezer customers are young, better educated housewives. Intelligent. Gracious. More sophisticated. And these housewives are mainly interested in convenience. That is what we have to sell them.
And now, folks, it's Suck It To Me time.
Good afternoon.
Oh, hello. Guess what?
What?
My husband shot an elk.
I see.
That's why I need a freezer, you see.
Uh-huh.
You ever tried to put an elk in a refrigerator?
No, but once I tried it with an odd fellow.
I think this one's big enough. I see it's on sale, too.
Well, Mrs.
Parkenfinkel. Mrs. Falkland T. Parkenfinkel.
Well, Mrs. Finkel. All right. But may I suggest you see the Cold Spot Time Bank? It's really much more than just a freezer.
Oh, look at all those lovely pizzas.
That's the idea of the Time Bank. When you make one pizza, or anything else, just make an extra 2 or 3 at the same time and put them in the freezer. It just takes a few minutes more to make extra servings of a meal. So when you store them in the freezer, you're actually storing up time, see?
Oh, isn't that nice?
Yeah, but this is a withdrawal slip.
Yes, I know. I'd like to withdraw 2 hours and 45 minutes from the time bank.
Very interesting. We tried it in Camelot, and it worked. Camelot.
Cold Spot Time Banks have 4 things that make them more convenient than any other freezer you can buy today. Findability, accessibility, flexibility, and visibility. Yes, Cold Spot Time Banks have findability. That means you can always find what you're looking for easily.
Oh, boysenberry pie. My time bank gives me complete findability. I always know where things are. It's like a filing system. Now, let's see. Casseroles, and then, oh, well, you see, my husband... And now, folks, it's Suck It To Me time. Tell me, why is Sears Time Bank the most convenient freezer on the market?
Oh, that's very easy. For 4 big reasons. First, there's findability. Then, flexibility, because you can arrange the shelves to fit any food you have. Then, of course, accessibility, because you can reach in and take anything out. Then, visibility, because you can see everything very easily.
Oh, can I buy one with invisibility?
Invisibility.
Yes. I want to put one in my living room, and if it doesn't have visibility, then it must have invisibility, and I won't be able to see it.
With time bank flexibility, the housewife can design her own freezer to fit whatever she wants to keep handy. You've got it. Thanks.
Thanks.
Ah, pizza, my favorite dish.
Well, since I've had my time bank, I've been making up extra pizzas. In fact, I've made 273 of your favorite kind.
What is my favorite kind?
Oh, pomegranate, of course. Bye, love. I'm going to go to the bridge club. Anything you want is in the freezer.
Very interesting. Eating habits.
But you don't put pigs in a piggy bank, do you?
He's going to be so proud of me when he finds out I've stored a year's supply of salami sandwiches in my new time bank.
If she serves me another salami sandwich today, I'll... maybe something else, too. And so with the Cold Spot Time Bank, you can eat better, save money, and above all, save yourself lots of time.
I don't really need one.
But why? Why not? Remember the elk.
All right, I'll buy one. Where do I go to pay for it?
Just take your check to the cashier. Oh.
Very interesting, but a little heavy.
What you might say about all this is that you haven't really lived until you've frozen.
Or, one could say, one can't really freeze conveniently until you're frozen in a cold spot time bank. You gotta keep moving in here to keep warm.
Very interesting. But who's watching the store?
Duizi stipte voyage juju chtofon miaje, dik tochta my voya sears robak.
Wow. It doesn't get any better the more you watch it. But I still love it. I started collecting films. Well, this is the first one in the series of films that were influenced by Laugh-In. I have another one, which is AC Delco, which also has kind of a Laugh-In vibe to it, and it's much funnier. This one, having watched a lot of Laugh-In as an adult, it's editing. Like if they had tightened the cuts and not have these weird lingers where Artie Johnson is like going like, ooh, or at least had a laugh track, that would have fixed it. But because you have this kind of ooh, that's why I like it, because it's so incredibly awkward. But it also is not funny. And also, having just recently gone through the process of looking at refrigerators via the internet, we all those kind of gimmicks, like the cold spot, like now it's the third drawer that can be a freezer, or it can be a deli snack drawer, or it can be for beverages. It's very interesting. And then there's also these areas that are called snack spots, where it's a little sliding thing that I guess you put string cheese in for kids. So you kind of relegate kids to this certain area. It's fascinating, because that's what you're selling, is you're selling, like, all of them cool your food, but what is the features that make someone go, ooh, I like that. And this whole time bank thing is fascinating, because you could do a time bank in an old cheap freezer too. So anyways, thank you for indulging me with that. We'll wait another 5 years before we show that again. Or maybe I'll find a sequel, Freeze In 2. That's what I hope to find one day. And it'll be maybe about ovens or dishwashers. Who knows? But thanks for joining us today. My brain has been like, because I'm on steroids, because I have a really bad poison ivy allergic reaction. And steroids are definitely helping. I have topical, and I also have one doses I'm taking every day. And my brain is like a fireworks explosion. There is, for me to concentrate, to do one thing is impossible at the moment. So thank you for bearing with me and the technical problems that we had today. And also this YouTube thing with the crowns, dude, I can't figure out a way to turn it off. And this is really bums me out, because I didn't ask for this feature, and so I'm going to have to dig harder to try to find it. Gabriel, thank you so much for contributing today. Very much appreciate. He donated via the ko-fi. I'm not looking at my screen, so I don't know what I'm pointing at. ko-fi.com/avgeeks. You can also donate via patreon.com/avgeeks. That money goes towards buying shelving and paying storage units. And I think we're going to rent a van next week to move a bunch of films to the film vault. And other stuff. But also the super thanks button is another way to throw some cash our way. But at the very least, you guys just watching makes me very happy. And I can say that I'm very happy that Rabies is not the most watched video in the last week. It is the Hindu film about how Hindu worship at home. It has gone crazy viral in India, of all places. And so that is the one that is being watched. That and the taper film, the taper installation removal film. Those incredibly niche things that are divergent. I'm somehow resonating with the taper community and the V-belt community and Hindus. I'm pretty happy about that, actually. Not what I anticipated, but there you go. But I'm also happy that you guys joined us today, and I'll be back again tomorrow. We've been scanning some stuff in the back, have some more things to show you. So we'll see you tomorrow. Everybody take care, keep cool, have a great rest of your day. Steroids.